Yes, on our Monday session, we were going to see the unseen. So we were talking about the energy. And yesterday also, I do the quick recap of what we did. So I will not repeat myself unless there are some questions or issues regarding this. What is the most important for our today's session is that you need to know that without energy, it would be very hard to do aligned action. So if you are fully drained, then before doing new action, it is really a must that you fill up with energy, at least as much as you can, and that then we continue to do the work. Now I'm moving to the yesterday session, where we moved from that energy individual level to the a little bit more interesting systemic level, or the collective one. And here there were a lot of different and interesting insights and perspective shifts. And this is something that is really sometimes abstract a little bit, sometimes overwhelming topic for some people. But in this group, it was really very good accepted. So I'm really grateful for that. So what we learned yesterday is that we are part of many systems, and that each of those systems is shaping us. And we learned that each system has its own energy, its own principles, and those principles are usually invisible, but they have quite a big influence on us. And through the examples that we were going through yesterday, we found out that sometimes something that looks like a personal issue actually can be a systemic pattern. What's important from yesterday to remember is that each system works well if the 4 key principles are followed. And if they are not followed, then we can have some problems. And those principles are order, balance, belonging, and the purpose. And every system, of course, wants to grow like we want. And maybe some beliefs that in the first session we discovered as our beliefs, maybe yesterday we redefined them as the beliefs that we inherited from our systems, maybe. And maybe some of them are now holding us back from the actions we maybe should take if we want to do the change. So outgrowing a pattern is really very important. And also, why am I stressing here outgrowing and not in a way of fixing or some other sort of saying, is because it's really important that we show respect toward the system and to the patterns that brings us so far. And then there were some questions yesterday that I were not able to answer because I didn't understand them when I was reading them, but later on I was still contemplating on them. And then I said, okay, I think that I know what was asked, and I think that this is also an important topic, which yesterday maybe I didn't highlight a lot, or I'm not sure if I stressed it enough. So I said I will do it today as a small addition before we go to the action. So what is really the systemic truth is that we cannot force the system. So we cannot force the system to shift before the system is ready. Whatever we do, it will not work. But there are now 2 possibilities. When we understand what's going on in the system, and when we see what's going on, what's the root cause, we can feel relief, we can maybe release some emotions, and it can be a good for us. That's that experience we all want to have. And there is also another experience about which actually was the question yesterday, that it's possible that within a system, you see some pattern, you see some things, but then nothing changed, and you are not in the position to change things. And then you can be frustrated because you are seeing and it's repeating, and you can be traumatized over and over again. Yeah, that's one way of looking into the situation. But another way to look into that situation is that you can always choose how you relate to the system. So if in the system you are seeing some pattern and you are not the owner of that pattern, you cannot change it because it's up to, I don't know, in the family system to your parents to solve it. In a business system, it's up to the owner to solve it, not to you, for example. What you can do. So it is not just being there or going, but it's actually there. You have three options. And first option is that you reposition yourself within that system, so that you ask yourself, what's my right place here and now with all this what I see, and with all this what system is currently ready for, or with all this that system is currently obviously not yet ready for. What's my right place in this? Maybe you can find some different place in that system. That's one option, once when you understood it. The second option is that you ask yourself, can I still serve this system maybe in a different way? So maybe not in a way I hoped, but how can I still serve it? And then the third option is the exit, but not just going away and being frustrated, but exit with integrity, which means, again, with respect. So if I really cannot stand, I don't see the point of being there anymore, this is not my story, then then exiting without some issues, taking with yourself to your next position or to your next system. And I want also to stress that when we find out the clarity, when we got to the understanding of the system, that doesn't mean that the problem will disappear. We will just understand it. We will not be any more catched there in the same way. Somehow we will really get the return of our strengths. But I said there are three options in the case that something in the system is still staying there and that is frustrating you. So leaving is not a failure, but you need to leave respectfully if that's your decision. So I wanted just to again stress that systemic work is not about fixing, it's not about saving systems, it's really about honoring what it is. So seeing things as they are, seeing some problems as the symptoms of some root causes, understanding the root causes, and then honoring that and finding the way how you can change your position or how you can do something toward the things that happened, how you can do the things in accordance with the potential and the purpose of the system. Okay, so are there any questions regarding the system, regarding the energy, regarding anything that we so far were talking about? No. Okay, good. One more part of the yesterday question was about mobbing, and the question was formulated in a sort of a way, how do we fix the mobbing? So now there are two parts of the answer. First part is we do not fix it because we cannot fix the symptom, so we need to find the root cause. And the second answer about the root cause for mobbing, in that case, there can be a lot of different root causes. It's not just that there is always one root cause for a certain symptom. And whenever we have the systemic issue or the symptom that is showing up, then we are going to find out what's the function of that symptom that is showing out. So in this case would be, what's the function of this mobbing? To whom this serve? Who is the receiver of this? Who is the one who is having pluses and who is the one who is having minuses? Where is this balance? When this started? Who started that? Is there any excluded person in the system? Is there any past event where there was maybe some power abuse? Is there any past event that no one is now talking about it? Or are there some past event that a lot of people is gossiping about, but no one knows what really happened? So different things can be the root cause of the something that arises. And we always, really always in the systemic work, no matter that for some things we know where should we look, because we are always looking, is it that someone is not belonging? Is it that there is no balance between receiving and giving? Is it that somewhere order is not, and history and hierarchy is not respected? Or is it somewhere that the purpose is totally unseen? So in some of those areas, usually we start to find what's happening, and but we need for each case really to see case by case. We can say, for example, it's very well known in the family. In the family constellations, we usually say, if you are having troubles with partnerships, with relationships, with your relationship also to yourself, your relationship toward life, then most probably we need to see your relationship with your mother. And if you have the issues with how you are showing yourself towards the outer world, not the inner, but more the outer world, then we are saying most probably there is something that we need to see in relationship of you with your father. But those are just guidelines. It's not necessarily in each case that it's that way. So anytime we have some symptoms, it's good that we really do good analysis of what's really going on. And then that we act based on the things that we found on the root cause is not just on the symptoms. Okay, now I think that we are ready to move to the action. So energy is something that drives us, system something that hold us, so in a sort of way, and action is something that transforms us. So are you ready for action? Yeah. Oh, yeah. So now, important for me is that you understand what's blocking your action currently. What's actually blocking your aligned action? What do you think? We will again have the poll for this survey, just that you a little bit activate after 15 minutes of my talking. So you have the 5 options. And you can choose one. Maybe you are already experimenting with aligned action, or one of those four. Okay. While we are doing that, we will go further, and then we will see later on what's the winner for today's group. But first, I will start with explaining what's actually aligned action. And sometimes people tell me, actually ask me, is the aligned action will be more effort or less effort? And that's the question that I really like, because my answer is always, well, I don't know how do you measure more or less effort, but I can say that it should be the right effort, whatever it is. So it's not about is it more or less, but it's about the right effort. So what does right effort means? That right effort means that we need to put in resonance our energy and our beliefs together with the action. And if our action is in the resonance with our beliefs and with our energy, then we are talking about aligned action. For example, if I'm saying in my energy, so I have a good feelings toward organizing a webinar, I have the good thoughts about it, in my body I feel it that I can do it, I believe that I can successfully make the webinar, and then I'm doing the action of organizing the webinar. That's the aligned action, because everything resonates. What is happening if my energy is saying to me, oh, I'm not sure if that's a good idea? Then my emotions are saying, maybe I'm not good enough for that. Then I have the belief that anyhow, no one cares about me, so no one will show off. And what then I'm doing? What is then my action? Well, I can still decide, well, I can try and see, and it will not be as successful as it will be if the action was fully aligned. So we really need to see what we are talking to ourselves, how our body is responding, what are our emotions, what are our beliefs. That's the reason that we were spending the first day all on the energy and the beliefs. Okay, the second part is also the system, because it's important that we respect our current systemic position. But the aligned action is something that gives us energy, something that makes us like flying, something that we have really that sense of ease, of flow, even if it's challenging. If you think that organizing a 3-part webinar is not challenging, I can tell you it is. But still, I'm doing it with the flow, in the sense of ease. And it is energizing me. It is my aligned action, but it doesn't mean that it is super easy. So I'm not saying about that it should be easy. Things can be challenging, but we can in the flow. Okay. We have the results of the poll. Very interesting winner. I do nothing. I was thinking that Mitya is writing this, and I was saying like, how this now correlates with what I'm saying about the aligned action. But okay, good. So, aligned action is something that really needs to be based on our energy. And if we remember on our first session, I was talking to you that we are physical, emotional, mental, spiritual beings, and we have that energies, and all those energies should be aligned. And if the energy is blocked, if my thoughts are not supporting the action, then I'm not aligned. If my emotions are not supporting, I'm not aligned. Also, my body can tell me. And I'm speaking a lot about embodiment and feeling in the body. And then some people usually tell me like, oh, I really do not know. Such stuff is not my cup of tea. And I say, we all know how some things feel in our body. We all know how we are feeling in our body when we are scared. We all know how we are feeling in our body when we are joyful. We all know, if I say now, how the lemon feel in your body, you have it immediately. Or when I say, do not think about the car, well, which color is that car that you are not thinking about right now? So we all know how does it feel in our body. Just the question is how much time we are using that. But we can, for each decision, feel it in our body. And we will do that exercise later. But I'm just saying that in our physical body, in our emotions, in our mental, in our mind, we know for some action, is it a go or is it a no-go? So it's important that we learn to integrate all those parts on the energy level. Then we were talking about systemic alignment, and true action really can only flow if we are on the right place within the system. Otherwise, what will happen is that we will act against something instead of towards something. And here I want to give you really the difference of the two. If someone is motivated to do something, then that's the right motivation. I want to have that. Wow, I want to try that. I want, and then I'm doing the steps toward that what I want. Well, if I'm just wanting to run away from something, that's not a good motivation. And what usually happens in practice is that people who are running away from bad relationships are going into even worse relationships. And people who are running away from bad jobs are running even in the worst jobs. So if you are running away, if your only motivation is, I want to run away from here and I don't know what I want, then you will get even the worst situation because your system wants to help you that you find out what you really want. And it's doing it in that way that we do not like. But yeah, that's how it is. So important is that we know what we want and that we always go in alignment with what we want, not what we are against. That will not work. Third important thing is intention. And here I can really speak a lot, but I will try not to go into all possible ways of intentionality. But of course, first, what I can say about intention is that aligned action must have intention. So it's some conscious choice. It's not just the emotional impulse. It's not just the inherited guilt. It's not just unprocessed trauma that someone triggered and then it was just a reaction. So it is not reaction. It is intentional action. That's the first level of being intentional. Second level is that it's good that we are putting intentions on everything what we do, because then for our unconsciousness, it's much easier to know what we really want. And sometimes it's also possible that we are putting intentions on some things, like I will just now give an example. I'm writing a book, or I'm now in that process, and that's my intention to write a book. And I do not actually do the writing every day or even at all, but there is that intention in the background. And then when the things are ready, I can jump on the right actions to do it, because somewhere in the background, that intention was already making its own way. The fourth thing, I already said a little bit about this embodied decision making. So important for me is that you understand that aligned action isn't just intellectual. Yes, we are doing a lot of decision making, mainly with our mind and our intellect. It's okay, but we really need to feel it also in the body, because we know how our body reacts. We know how our body shows expansion and how our body shows that something isn't right and we are getting smaller and smaller in the body. So it's good that we show more attention toward how we are reacting in certain situations, how our body is reacting to certain people, to certain situations, to things which are unknown, so that we know our normal responses, and then we can also use that already learned responses of our body for some other things. And I said, we will do an exercise at the end where you will try to feel something that didn't yet happen, but you can feel it. And we will come to that. So, of course, aligned action is something that is more response than reaction. So whatever is just automatic and full, like fear, like habit, something from the loyalty, from something from my beliefs, that's reaction. If I'm saying, oh, I will do that because my mother wants that, I actually don't, but it's easier for me this way, that's the reaction that I'm doing from some habit and from some loyalty. I do not really want that. If I want that, then that's another story. But important is that we really define, do we want to do that? Is that action aligned with us or not? We can still do that even if it's not aligned, but we need to be aware that this is not aligned with me. And I'm doing this today. And tomorrow I will ask myself, will I again do something that is not aligned with myself? So the aligned action is that when we have to do something, we a little bit pause and we get the clarity. What's going on? Okay? And we can ask a lot of questions. We can ask ourselves a lot of questions in that moment, and then we have the choice. So one of the most important question is this just a current reaction on some situation, on some circumstances, or this is really a response from my inner truth? And is this action coming from fear, from duty, from whatever reason, or this is coming from love? Am I trying to prove something, to please someone, to protect someone? And which part of me is really choosing this? Is this me, my adult self, or is this my internal wounded child now deciding to do this? Or am I doing this as the loyal daughter to my parents, but otherwise I wouldn't do it? So it's good that we are clear what's going on. Yeah, I want to give you a contrast that you can have different behavior. So you can have reaction and you can have response or aligned action in totally the same circumstances. For example, I'm usually taking the leadership examples. We have someone in the team, and that someone the last 2-3 days is underperforming. I can react here from the reaction and confront that person immediately. What's going on? This is non-performance. How you will fix this? And that reaction will create most probably defense from the other side, or even arguing, or even fighting from the other side. It will create distance. It will not be very good. What I can do instead, I can act from the alignment. So I can pause a bit and reflect, okay, what's going on? When this start happening? Why this person is behaving this way? What triggered this? Okay, is this something in his or her private life going on currently? And then I can invite a person for a really clear, grounded conversation where I'm curious. I've noticed in the last 3 days a change. What's going on? So totally the same circumstances, but different way how we react immediately or try to align, act. So where in your life, this is just something that you think of while I check a bit of the chat. So think about where in your life aligned energy can change the outcome, even if the circumstances do not change. So this is something for you to think about. Okay, thank you for the comment, for agreement. Okay. We are moving to the reflection. So in your work, you have, again, like in the first 2 sessions, 2 reflections. So we will now start with the first one. And the first one is asking you 3 questions. And the first one is, what decision or what move have you been avoiding? And the second question is, what fear is holding you back from taking action? And if you truly trusted your energy, what would you do next? So as you know, you are already very skilled in this. When you are ready that we continue, just write ready in the chat or send some emoji and we will continue. But now think about this. What's really going on? Okay, some of you are done. Some of you are writing that it's too hard, that you will do it later. Okay, you can also do it later. We will continue. Okay, I will now share with you 2 inner postures that we all have. And of course, those inner postures are manifesting in our lives when the things are not going as they should. Because when the things are going as they should, then everything is nice, everything is just the rainbows and unicorns, and life is pretty, so we don't need to talk about that part of the life. But when something happened that is not nice, when something is happening that is hard and tough in our life, then there are two internal, really internal positions that we can take. And one, which we are taking sometimes, is the prism perspective, which means that, okay, this is the end. Now this happened and my life is totally over. I'm totally out and there is no way out for me. And why is this always happening to me? And so on. So this is one possible position in which we can be. Not nice inner position to be, but it is happening. Another one is actually the power perspective. So even if something crazy happened and we are not happy because of that, and it is hard and it is difficult, we are able to go into the inner posture of a power perspective. And in that power perspective, we are asking ourselves, what is this going to mean? So what would I do? What I will do with this? What I want it to mean? What's my next line step? And how can this build me and not break me? I know that we would all like to be in this power perspective, and that sometimes it's hard because we are all humans and we are going to our prison perspective. But the point is that we are aware of that, and that as much as possible, time we are spending in our power perspective, understanding that circumstances are not defining who we are. So that prison perspective is actually circumstantial perspective, which means that if circumstances are tough, then I'm done. But that's not true. Circumstances do not define us. Circumstances do not define our value. Circumstances do not define what we will make out of that. What defines what we will make out of any situation is our inner posture. Are we in our personal power or not? Because if we are in our personal power, nothing can change that. And this is also, you like to use examples. This is also, you for sure see it numerous times, especially in sport, when you have the two teams and then the team that is scoring less still didn't lose the idea of winning, and they are in their power perspective, and then they are creating the momentum, and then they are able to win. But they are able to win, even if the difference is really huge, if they are all in their power perspective. What are our next aligned steps? What we want this to mean? How can this build us, not break us? Also, the opposite story is true. We saw teams where there was just a few points of difference and still enough time that they can do their best, but they were going into their prison perspective. They already lose the game in their mind, in their body, in their inner posture. So actually, we are deciding with our inner posture what is our life going to be. And of course, every human will have a breaking point or numerous breaking points. I can tell you from my life that I had really a lot of breaking points. And yes, it's not nice. Yes, it's very intense. Yes, it can break you, but also it can become your greatest breakthrough if you have enough power in yourself to go through it. So your perspective is always right. Whatever you believe you will act on it. And what you act on, that becomes your life. So if you think, I cannot do it, you are right. And if you think, I will do it, you are again right. So it's your perspective. And we should use all those moments that are, let's say, breaking us to see what we can make out of it. What our system now wants from us. Why? What's this happening? What is this the great opportunity for? And yeah, I will give also the personal story because I like storytelling, and I think that when I'm sharing the real stories, you even feel it deeper than when I'm just sharing some stories that are not so mine. What happened is about 2 years ago, I was working with a team that I really loved. So great environment, great people, values totally in connection with my personal values, and the project that was my dream project on the paper. In the reality, it was a problem that we didn't have customers. So nothing from that, my dream project, was going on in reality. And because we were a great team and we had also some other projects, then when you are in the part of the team, you should somehow be of use. And because you are there and waiting for the customers that we are starting with our great job, you have still somehow to earn your salary. So you start to work on another projects that are available. And those another projects are not my dream projects. And actually those another projects are the projects that I'm not interested at all. And those another projects are the projects that I don't like. And what am I doing? I'm doing those projects in waiting for my dream project to somehow show up. And I'm there because I adore the team and I love our values and I love our community, but I don't like what I'm doing every day. And one day, I was really going into that, okay, now I will clarify with myself, what is this? And then I was saying, okay, in this my dream project, I'm teaching other people, I'm teaching other leaders. And the first thing which I'm saying to them is that they need to be authentic. How authentic am I? Ooh, I've got response immediately. I'm totally not authentic. I'm not doing what I'm teaching others. I'm telling people that they need to follow their dreams. I'm telling people that they need to be in their power perspective. I'm telling people that they don't need to wait until they start to live, but they need to live every day. And I'm not doing that. The next morning, I resigned from the absolutely the greatest team I ever worked with, absolutely the greatest salary I ever worked with, and I had no idea what I will do after that. But I felt that if I stay there, I'm going to lose myself. And for me, the most important thing was that I stay authentic, that I live what I am teaching others to do. That was the most important thing. And this is aligned action, because I know in my body, in my emotions, in my mind, in my energy, that I need to step out, because that my ideal, dreamy project was just on the paper. in the reality, there was no such thing. And now, 2 years after, am I regretting it? No. No, I'm totally sure that that was the right decision and it was okay. And yes, I needed to be in my power perspective to do that. Because yes, my human mind was saying to me, what about finances? What about living? What about all the things which we need to pay? What about it? Yeah, but who is running my life? Other circumstances, or am I running my life? So this is really one of the moments of my life which was really there to break me or to come to become my breakthrough. And again, it's on me what I will make with it. So I hope that you enjoyed it. I got some emojis, so obviously yes, thank you. Now we are going, after this story, to this bridge between the insight and the action. Because you all know, you have a lot of information, you have a lot, overflow of information. And I can just give you that as a fun fact. 92 people talks about change, but do nothing, which is maybe in accordance with our survey today, where you are also saying that you are feel overwhelmed and do nothing as the winner. But of course, we have the second one. I'm already experimenting with aligned action. So yes, we will be better. So 92% of people do nothing. They have all the insights, they have all the information, and there is no action. Action is coming through those three inner shifts. First, we need clarity. Then we need to release something, and then we have the choice. So now we will go through all three of them. So first we need to know, what do you truly want? In my example, I truly want to live my life from my values, to walk the talk. No more, no less. Everything okay, everything around is nice and beautiful, but what is must is that I'm living my values, that I'm fully me. So that was my what I truly wanted. You need to find what do you truly want, to connect with your motivation. And the question is, if there are no shoulds, woulds, and so on, coulds, who would I be? Or something that I'm calling the truth prompt, if I had 10 times more courage. Or you can put, if I have 100 times more courage, what I would do. I would, and then. So first we need to get clarity. What we want, what we would do if we have the more courage, what we would do if there are no some woulds, shoulds, and so on. And also when we have a few choices in front of us, we need to check which choice gives me energy. Which one is like, oh, I want that. I feel that it is energizing me. Which is the path that is giving me life? Which is one that really ignites me? That is what we should see and that we get clarity on. And then this second step is that we really see if we have to release something. So are we entangled in some loyalty, guilt, in some roles? Are we unconsciously repeating some patterns? At that moment, in that story, catch myself actually that I'm doing all the things toward loyalty to the team and toward some my internalized dream project that was not coming, and I was waiting, and Who knows, will it ever come? So when you have something to release, then there is the question. Sometimes you can also ask yourself, whose voice is driving this action? Whose stories is driving this action? Or who am I trying to stay connected by staying here, by staying stuck, staying in this situation, not choosing to do this action? With who I'm connected? To who am I loyal with this? We were doing this yesterday, so I hope that now you can see what was the purpose of all those things that we were yesterday doing, with naming patterns, with saying who is gaining and what I can lose if I stop doing that, and so on. And yesterday we were also saying this systemic sentence for the releasing something with the respect. So we should honor the fate of someone and decide to choose our own path. But here I also need to say that you really have to feel it. You cannot just, oh, Elma said, let's do this. Okay, mother, I will do on my own, but you do not feel it. You really have to embody it. You really need to be in that position, feeling, respecting, and honoring that person for real. And then saying that, being able to say, okay, I bow to you. I appreciate that. I honor your fate, your decisions. It was right for you. But now I'm taking my decisions of my own. So that can somewhere be needed, somewhere not. And the third thing, which is important, is choice. So we do not need immediately to do some very, very big things, something very performative, something extraordinary. We can start with the small steps. We can really build our practice. In the moment when I was doing that 2 years ago, I was really in the that power position inside of myself. But I was practicing that power position for years before I was able to do such thing. So yes, you need to practice, and the practice will make you a master, but only if you are mastering the practice. So start with the small things. Start with something doable, something that is small, doable enough, but that can give you a good feeling. And it shouldn't be like the forever commitment or something heavy. You can make fun of it. You can frame it as an experiment. You can frame it like something joyful that I would really like to try. But important is that you are doing actions. Okay. Now we will do one visualization. So I'm inviting you, it will be very quick, just to sit a bit. If you want, you can close your eyes. Maybe that would be easier. Do inhale and exhale. Just that you come to your inner world. Sitting comfortably. Don't thinking about anything specifically. And you imagine that you are standing in front of the two doors. One door is very familiar, and it's heavy. The other door is unknown, but it looks light. Which one is pulling you forward? And what is the emotion that you are having in yourself when you are stepping through the door, whichever you choose? If you like, you can go back and step through the other door if you want to see the emotion there. Maybe you do not want to go to the second door. That's also okay. That's also a message for you. Now it's time that we go back, also from the second door, to come back to our position where we are sitting. And we breathe in, breathe out. And when you are okay, you are opening your eyes. And if you got some insight, you can write it down. If you want, you can share it. But it's actually to you to feel are pulling you forward just familiar things or also the unknown ones. And how does it feel to go through the one or the two of those doors? Okay, just a new, good. Just a new door is interesting. Good. Nice. What was the color of the door? That's also additional question. I'm joking.
Pinky.
Yeah?
Pinky.
Pinky. That's nice color. Good. Yeah, new door is really exciting and appealing. Yay! That's good. Yeah. So let's do some steps toward the new door.
Just one question.
Yes.
But what each door represents?
It's
If-
about it is, as I said, it is being in the familiar, being in the comfort zone, and the new one, unknown, stepping out of the comfort zone, doing things differently. So having clarity and doing actions, because we're talking about actions. This is actually how we are approaching actions, just on our known way, or we are ready for something to change. Okay. Good. Now it's time for your second reflection. So things do not necessarily need to be very big. That we just practice that alignment and doing things from our inner truth. It's good that we just start with some small doable things. And then when we practice for some time, then we can do bigger things. So what is one small step you can take this week that aligns with your truth? Your truth is important. Yeah. This is, there is the comment on the chat about new door being easy, breezy, and old door responsibilities, consequences, and everything. Yeah, that's the reason that I said unknown hard. Known hard and unknown light. But yeah, we have the similar doors. I agree. Okay, so the reflection tool. First question is one small step that you can do. The second question is, if at all you need someone to talk to about this, ask for support, or maybe set some boundary with someone in order that you do your action. And the third question is actually, what are you ready to declare to yourself or to others? But others are not so important in this moment. What are you ready to declare to yourself? Regarding your steps, of course, regarding your actions, regarding being truly you. When you are ready, that we continue. You know the drill, write the ready or do some. Yeah, you already know it. And you are ready. Great. You are amazing team. Okay. There is one more exercise today. It is just a 2-minute embodiment. Some of you will like it. For some of you, maybe it will be strange, but we will try it anyway. If it works, great. If not, maybe it will work the second time, so we'll try it. Again, just sit comfortably, close your eyes, breathe in, breathe out, relax. And imagine that it is 1 year from now. You have been taken this aligned action for real. And you are now energized, grounded, aligned, proud of yourself. Feel it in the body. Feel that new version of yourself. And ask that new version of yourself, what did that version of you start doing today? And if the future version of you is willing to tell you, you can also ask her or him, what's one message that your future self wants to give you now? Even if you didn't get any message, even if the new version didn't tell you what you should start today, I hope that at least you get that feeling of how it is to be that next version. And now we will slowly get back to today, to here and now. Sitting in our chair, breathing in and out. And when you feel ready, you can again open your eyes. And if you like to share, you can. If you don't want to share, it's okay. Whatever is good for you. Okay. We are slowly coming to the end of today's session. So I'm here summarizing some key insights which I found important, so that insight becomes transformation only when we do the action. And it is not necessarily that you really jump off the cliff, but to do one aligned step. And when you do that, everything will change. Not because now you change the world or whatever, but because you changed something inside of you, that place where you are acting from. And then you take another step. And then you just think differently and you start to live differently. When you are all the time checking, is this really aligned decision with me, with my energy? Okay, do I have clarity? Yes. Okay, what choice I have? Okay, who is talking about this? Which part of me? So you are really learning to behave and to do things differently. And this was something what I wanted to share and to give you, how from the situation in which we are stuck, we are slowly coming to the situation where we are aligned. When we understood what's happening to us, then we can start with the steps that can help us change that. I would like also that you share with me your key insight from today's session. What was the best for you? What was in it for you, actually? What will you remember? Maybe one thing. And I also have to close this whole journey that we have for those 3 days. So I hope that I made somehow that you've seen a little bit of your own unseen, that you felt your systems, that you are now ready to take the next step, and that with all this you somehow got the feeling of how transformation is going. So transformation is always through the motion, through the actions, because we can talk a lot about things intellectually. We can talk about also our emotions, but until we do the motion, until we do the action, nothing will change. And also important is that for this last part, the action, there is also homework, as always. And if you want to go deeper, you can do it. You can send it to me. And I will again send you my response. And I'm really enjoying with all of you who are doing homeworks, because that allows me to give you some more, to give you something more gift to you in order that you continue with your transformation. What else? Okay, we have here listen to yourself. We have trust yourself. We have remove limitations. Do not just run and take the next step. We have small steps, aligned, embodied steps. Be aware of the system or the consequences of showing the ego to the system. Okay, that's fun. That's interesting one. Yeah, good. So thank you for all those insights. What else I can say about what's next, at least for me? On the energy side, on my page, there is the personal energy quiz. which you can take. And in that personal energy quiz, you will answer on the 20 questions, and then you will got pretty personalized report based on your scores about 4 types of your energy. So your physical, your mental, your emotional, and your spiritual energy, with some also tips. What should you do considering your result to on the certain area to improve it, or to have it on that good level if it's on the good level. So yes, this is something that is now on my webpage. It's free, and it's one more gift from me to you regarding the energy. Then regarding the systems, I was already mentioning that I'm organizing monthly systemic constellation workshops. And if someone would like to meet its own system in a little bit different way, in a simulation sort of a way, on 8th of June, Sunday, I'm planning to have this workshop. So if you are interested, you can contact me directly, and I will give you more information about everything that you are interested in. So for now on, this is just for the people from Slovenia. But if you also are interested in constellations, you can also contact me, and some are possible to be done online. But as I said, we need to talk to see what the issue is and what's the most appropriate way. Because for some certain constellations, I would rather do them in a group than individually online. Okay, and the third thing is this beautiful butterfly, which actually, for me, symbolizes transformation. So if you would like now or anytime in the future to go on a deeper transformation path, here is my offer actually to follow you on your transformation. That can be 3-month or 6-month package. I'm doing that with other people. So if you feel the call, again, contact me and we will see what can be done and how can I serve you the best. So that's actually all from my side for today and for all those 3 days.